Good morning, students. Now today I am going to start a new lesson, chapter 4, motion in a plane. Before this, there was a third lesson, motion of a particle in a straight line. Actually, in this third lesson, you will study about the motion of a particle in one dimension. One dimension, that means either along positive x-axis or negative x-axis, in upward direction or in downward direction, in the coming out direction or going inside direction. It means what? The motion of a particle in straight line direction, there are only two possible directions. One can be said as positive, another can be said as negative. If it is moving towards the right side, you denote it by positive sign. If it is moving towards the left side, you denote it by putting the negative sign. Same way, if it is moving in upward direction, you denote it by positive sign. If it is moving in downward direction, you denote it by putting negative sign. That means for motion of a particle along a straight line direction, there are only two possible directions. These two possible directions are indicated by positive or negative sign. But in this chapter, motion of a particle in a plane, that plane may be two-dimensional plane, like x-axis to y-axis. The motion of a particle in a three-dimension, that means in a space. So for such a motion of a particle in plane or in three dimensions, we need vector quantities. Without vector, this cannot be explained. That's why in this chapter we have to study about the all physical quantities of physics, which are going to be resolved in two categories. One is known as scalar quantities, another is known as vector quantities. In this chapter you will also study about the equations of motion of a particle moving with constant acceleration. You also study in this lesson about the projectile motion, which is most important. And next you will also study in this chapter about the uniform circular motion, which is also the most important. So first we study about the scalar quantities and vector quantities. What are the scalar quantities? Let us see. The scalar quantities are only those quantities which require for their complete information only magnitude or values. Definition: the quantities for which complete information is obtained only by knowing their values are called scalar quantities. As per example, which are those? Like mass is there, temperature is there, time is there, density is there, work is there, energy is there, volume is there, etc. There are a lot of physical quantities which work as a scalar quantities. Now a scalar quantity, how is represented? A scalar quantity is represented by only putting the symbol of a given physical quantity. As for example, you want to mention the mass, you write simply m. As for example, you want to mention the temperature, you write capital T. Let you want to mention the time, you write simply T. Then it is also be represented by number showing its magnitude with proper unit. As for example, mass of an object is supposed to be 25 gram. So 25 number with proper unit is gram is there. Let you want to mention the room temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. So capital T equal to 25 degree Celsius. Here you can see that there is no importance of direction. You can't say the mass of object 25 gram in east direction. In every direction it is same. That's why there is no importance of direction. That's why these physical quantities are known as the scalar quantities. The rules for combining the scalars are the same as that of the rules for ordinary algebra. As you want to take the sum of the two masses body, then you directly write m1 plus m2. Let you want to get the difference of two temperature. One temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, another is 25 or according to ordinary algebra, 30 minus 25, 5 degrees Celsius is the temperature difference. So these are the rules be the same as that you are using for ordinary algebra. Now we have to come to the vector quantities. What is the main difference between the scalar quantity and vector quantity? In scalar quantity, there is no importance of diffraction. There is no importance of direction. While in vector quantities, there is importance of direction. So what are the vector quantities? The quantities which needs both direction as well as magnitude. Direction as well as value for the complete information are known as vector quantities. As for example, velocity there, force is there, acceleration, displacement, torque, etc. Now how the vector quantity can be represented when you want to write? The vector quantity is represented by putting a small arrow on the symbol of that physical quantity, or it can be written as bold letter of that symbol. But this is practically not convenient. That's why we use the first method. That means we have to put the symbol of physical quantity, and above the symbol of physical quantity you put a small arrow. So this is the representation of vector quantity. As for example, the velocity vector is written as small v symbol and above which you put small arrow. Then it can be read as the vector v. Similarly, force vector can be written as capital F, above it you put small arrow. It can be read as vector F. Similarly, acceleration vector is vector A, displacement vector is vector D. Then, how the magnitude of vector quantity is represented? The magnitude of vector quantity is represented by putting simply a symbol of that physical quantity or vector symbol within the modulus. So let you want to write the magnitude of velocity, then you can use the simply small v, or you have to just consider this kind of two small vertical bars and in which you have to put the symbol of vector v. So this is the representation of magnitude of vector quantity. The magnitude of velocity vector is given by the mod of, this can be read as modulus of v, vector v, or this can be read as mod of vector v, or it can be read as simply v is there. Then the vector quantities obey some another kind of the laws for their addition or subtraction. That's why the vector quantities obey the triangle law of addition, and another is the parallelogram law of addition for the combination. Vectors cannot be added just like as ordinary algebra. You can't say simply v1 plus v2. If v1 is 10 meter per second and vector v2 is 20 meter per second, then you can't say vector v1 plus v2 equal to 20. 10 plus 20 equal to 30. But it can be obtained by some another method, and that another method is known as what? The triangle law of addition vector, and another is parallelogram law of vector addition, and we will see later on how this is possible. Thereafter, thus a vector quantity specified by giving two things. One is magnitude by number and another is its proper direction. Now let us see the next topic. It is presentation of vector by a graphical method or by a geometrical method. How the vector can be represented by graphical method or by geometrical method. To represent a vector quantity geometrically, we have to draw an arrow from any point. So an arrow can be drawn from any point. There is no any restriction regarding the selection of the point. You can take the point from anywhere, and that point is considered as a reference point. The condition is that now this arrow having a length and head. So this condition is that the length of the arrow is equal to magnitude of the vector. Length कितनी होनी चाहिए? Magnitude of vector के बराबर. Otherwise, it should be taken on certain proper scale. You have to choose the proper scale. The condition is that the length of the arrow is equal to magnitude of the vector, or magnitude of the vector on the proper scale, and head of the arrow must be in the direction of vector quantity. Try to understand. Let I am considering there is a Howrah Express train is going from Ahmedabad to Calcutta. So we know very well, in our India, this Ahmedabad is in west direction, Calcutta is in east direction. And let this kind of the train, the velocity of the train is moving with how much speed? 60 km per hour from west to east. Then how it can be represented velocity vector? Magnitude is 60 km per hour. So here you have to take a one proper scale, because we have to draw an arrow, and this arrow you have to draw in your notebook. Our notebook having a certain limitations. That's why we are selecting a proper scale. How much proper scale is there? 10 km per hour equal to 1 centimeter length I am taking. I am choosing. So 10 km per hour is equivalent to 1 centimeter. So 60 km per hour equal to what? Here multiplied by 6 on both the sides. So 60 km per hour will be equal to what? 6 centimeters. So from any one of the point like O, by using this kind of the scale, you draw an arrow having a length equal to 6 centimeters. This is 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 4, 5, and this is 6 centimeter. So this OP length is equal to 6 centimeter. And as the train is moving from Ahmedabad to Calcutta, that means from west to east direction. So I have to just put an arrow at a point P. So it is from west to east, because you know on the upper side north, on the lower side south, on the right side east, here on the left side west. So just maintaining the proper direction, you have to draw an arrow vector OP. So this vector OP is said to be as the vector V. Length of the arrow OP is 6.0 centimeter, and thus this arrow OP in a vector OP can be read as the vector V. So this is the simplest presentation of vector by graphical method or by geometrical method. Now thereafter we discuss about the another two topics. One is position vector, another is displacement vector. This position vector is too much important in physics everywhere. What is position vector and displacement vector? The definition is like this one. A vector showing the position of a particle at any time with respect to some reference point is known as what? Position vector. It is denoted by symbol always vector small r, most probably. So this is the definition. What is position vector? The position vector showing a position. किसका? Of a particle. कहाँ से? From some reference point. कब? At any time. So thus position vector is nothing but a vector showing the position of a particle at any time with respect to some reference point is known as its position vector, vector r. Now let us see how we can represent. So here I am considering there is a one particle supposed to be in motion in xy plane, as here I have drawn. This is origin, this is x-axis, this is y-axis. Particle is moving along this curved path. You can see in the diagram. So let it move along the curved path in xy plane. It is just like that when you consider one little stone and allow to be thrown like this one. Then it is moving in xy plane. And as it moves in xy plane, let it arise at a point P at certain moment. Then it comes to the point Q at another certain moment. So here as I have written, suppose a body moves along a curved path in xy plane as shown in figure. Origin O is taken as the reference point. Let at time t1 it is arriving at a point P. So vector OP, it means what? You just join this P point with origin. So that this vector OP is obtained by joining the origin with a point P and putting an arrow at a point P. So this vector OP is in a definite direction. It is not in x direction, not in y direction. It is lying in xy plane, and this length, that means the distance from O to P is fixed is there. Direction is this fixed is there. And this kind of the vector OP is said to be what? The position vector R1. So this is obtained, or this is formed by joining the origin with position P, is called the position vector R1 of that body at time t1. So vector OP equal to vector R1 is known as a position vector of a body at time t1 when the body is arriving at a point P. Thereafter some later time. So similarly, when the body reaches to another point Q at later time t2, then again by joining the Q with origin and putting an arrow at a point Q, because this point Q is showing the position. So putting an arrow at a point Q, so this vector OQ we get be the another position vector of the same body but at another time t2. Now then during time interval, if I say this time t1 is supposed to be equal to 1.0 second, time t2 is supposed to be equal to 5.0 second. So in time interval from 1 second to 5 seconds, what will be the time interval? 5 minus 1 becoming what? 4 seconds is the time interval. So during the time interval of t2 minus t1, the body reaches from point P to Q, and hence now by joining initial position with final position, you will get the vector PQ. So here you have to put the arrow at point Q, because initial position is the tail and final position is the head. So vector PQ equal to vector R2 minus R1 is known as what? The displacement vector. And hence vector PQ equal to R2 minus R1 is called the displacement vector. So what about the displacement vector? The magnitude of displacement vector is the distance, simply distance. किसके बीच का distance? Distance between initial position like P and final position like Q. We just to measure the distance between P and Q. So that will represent what? The magnitude of displacement vector. The magnitude of displacement vector is the distance between the initial and final position of the body. Displacement vector is a straight line. We remember it is not a curved line, PQ. It is a straight line, PQ. The displacement vector is a straight line joining these two positions, initial and final position. But where will be the head of this vector PQ will be at a final position like Q. And it does not depend, so this displacement magnitude of displacement vector does not depend on the actual path undertaken by the body between two positions. That's why this magnitude of displacement vector either be equal to actual path or it will be less than that of the actual path. So the magnitude of the displacement vector is either less or equal to the actual path of an object between two positions. Again I am repeating. So the magnitude of the displacement vector is either less or equal to the actual path of an object between two positions, initial and final positions. Now let us come to the topic different kind of vectors. Equal vectors. What are the equal vectors? Two vectors are said to be equal if and only they are having same magnitude and same direction. Two vectors are said to be equal vectors if and only they have same magnitude and same direction, as shown in this diagram. One vector A denoted by vector PQ, another vector B denoted by vector OS. They are having the same length, distance from P to Q equal to distance from O to S. So how it can be? Prove. So you have to shift the vector B parallel to itself towards the vector A. So what will happen? After some time, O point will coincide with P point and S point coincide with Q point. It automatically shows A and B are coinciding with each other. having same length, same direction, then such two vectors like A and B are said to be equal vectors. It is denoted by the symbol like vector A equal to vector B. Then what are parallel vectors? The same is that in case of parallel vectors, it is not necessary that magnitude of two vectors should be equal. It may be equal, it may not be equal. But if they are having the same directions, as for example, I consider this is one vector A, this is another vector B. You can see that such kind of the two vectors are in same directions but not having same magnitude. So if the two vectors are having same directions, whether they have same magnitude or do not, then they are said to be what? Parallel vectors. Then parallel vectors just means what? You consider the railway track, then it is said to be parallel one. Anti-parallel vectors, just opposite to this. If two vectors are having mutually opposite directions, then they are said to be what? Anti-parallel vectors. Then next category is aparallel vectors or different vectors. What are the different vectors? If two vectors are not parallel as well as not anti-parallel, it means the two vectors neither be parallel nor be anti-parallel. Then such kind of the two vectors are known as aparallel vectors or different vectors. So here you can see that this vector A and vector B are different vectors. They are having different magnitude. Magnitude of vector A is just distance from P to Q. Magnitude of vector B is just distance from O to S. And they are not be equal. So they are having different magnitude. As well as they are diverging from each other. That's why they are neither be parallel nor be anti-parallel. So thus the vector A and vector B are said to be what? Different vectors. So what is definition? The two vectors neither be parallel nor be anti-parallel are said to be aparallel vectors or different vectors, just like vector A and vector B here. And then we have to study about the multiplication of vector by a real number. Now let us see, the next topic is multiplication of a vector by a real number. If vector A is multiplied by a positive number lambda, lambda may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. any positive number, then we get a new vector lambda times vector A. And this new vector having the same direction as that of vector A, but its magnitude is lambda times that of vector A. That's why it is given by modulus of new vector lambda A is equal to lambda times the modulus of vector A if lambda is greater than 0. So here this can be understood like this one. If I see this is a vector A, if this vector A is multiplied by number 2, then you will get this is vector 2A. How much be the length? Double than that of vector A. So such a vector 2A is double than that of the vector A, having the same direction as that of vector A, but its magnitude is 2 times that of vector A, like that one. Similarly, now instead of positive number, here I am not going to be writing, but you understand, if vector lambda is multiplied by, instead of positive, a negative number, lambda, then we get a new vector again lambda having opposite direction. Then we get a new vector lambda having opposite direction to that of vector A. And again its magnitude will be lambda times that of vector A. So again if I say this is the one vector A, is multiplied by minus 1.5, then you may get this kind of the vector. This is 1.5 lambda, 1.5 times of A, but it is in opposite direction. So as this is minus 1.5. So we get the new vector minus 1.5 A, but it is in opposite direction to that of vector A. And its magnitude will be how much? 1.5 times that of the original vector A. Thereafter, now if this real number, instead of number it is a one physical quantity, it is a scalar quantity. So if lambda is a scalar quantity having physical dimension, then new vector lambda A has dimension is equal to the product of dimensions of lambda and vector A. So if this lambda neither be positive number nor be negative number, but it is a somewhat physical quantity, that is scalar quantity, not vector quantity. It is a scalar quantity. Then you will get a new vector by multiplying lambda with a lambda A. And this lambda A new vector has dimensions is equal to that of the product of the dimensions of lambda and A. As for example, if I say velocity vector V is multiplied by the time interval, is multiplied by the duration of time denoted by symbol T, and then we get new vector Vt. Now what is the dimension of velocity in meter per second? Dimension of time is second, second cancel. So you will get the dimension of vector Vt is meter, and this dimension meter is only for displacement. So you will get vector Vt is equal to displacement vector. So thus whenever this kind of a number lambda neither be positive number nor be real negative number, but it is of somewhat scalar quantity, and this scalar quantity like T has some dimension, then new vector lambda A has a dimension equal to the product of the dimension of lambda and dimension of A. As for example, velocity vector will be multiplied by the duration of time, and we get a new vector Vt, and this vector Vt is equal to what? Displacement vector T. Why? Because velocity has dimension meter per second, time has dimension second cancel. So vector Vt has dimension meter, and meter is the dimension of displacement vector. That's why we get vector Vt is equal to dimension displacement vector V.